Good morning everyone, I'm Wayne Bramwell, I'm the Managing Director of Westgold, and my presentation is going to be very different than the previous ones you heard. I'm going to tell our company story, not from a technical perspective, but from the perspective of an investor. Anyway, so it'll be a little different, so buckle up. Firstly, really, my presentation today is only trying to achieve three things. It's really to get you to remember the code, WGX, try and give you an appreciation of what it's like to be a gold miner in Australia, and three, give you an opportunity to meet some of the people that make this happen. Westgold, very simple story in some sense. We're proudly West Australian, we're true believers in gold, that's all we do. We produce 250,000 ounces of gold from our operations in WA, and our company, I'll talk to all of these points, has gone through some significant changes in the last 12 months. We're debt-free, we're generating cash, and this restructuring we've done to the business is, if the trend's your friend, puts us in a very good place. Most importantly, I think we're the only Australian gold company that does not have any fixed forward gold sales in place. What am I saying? Is we are fully exposed to the Australian dollar gold price, and we sold gold on Monday at $28.92. We collected every cent of that. Before I talk about where we're going in the future, it's really one slide to talk about where we've been. FY23 was a significant year in Westgold's journey. I mean, this is not a new company, we've been around for 8 years, but FY23 was a watershed moment in many instances. We made some changes to the business, cultural changes, operating changes, because we had to address a key point from an investor's perspective, profitability. The profitability in the business had not been where we wanted, and we needed to change, and it took us a year. But by the second half of FY23, and if the trend's your friend there, you can see the free cash in the business started to come. It was a really difficult year for everyone in this business, and I'm so lucky that I've got a management team and 965 staff and 300 contractors who leaned into the changes that we needed to make. This is where we live. Basically, a simple story. We are the dominant gold producer in the Murchison region. We control most of the ground between the towns of Meekatharra and Kew, 1,300 square kilometres of permits, 1,300 staff, 4 underground mines and 3 processing plants. I'm really not going to try and bombard you with the technical perspectives of the business. We can talk to that, but again, from a shareholder's perspective, it doesn't get any simpler than that. 4 underground mines, 3 processing plants. The key takeaway from this slide is really that our strategy is working. The share price chart shows that in the beginning of 23, we were trading sort of 80 cents. The stock's at around 150 now. To me, it's taken a year, but it's starting to show that the strategy we set out for in FY23 is starting to work. We're starting to get greater coverage, and from an investor's perspective, now 3 analysts cover Westgold, soon to be 2 more. My executive management team, some of it is here with me today, and these businesses are about people. People make these businesses work, and we are, in some sense, a mid-cap gold producer with 1,300 staff. I'm very happy today that I'm travelling with my CFO, Tommy Heng, and also the chair, Cheryl Edwards. Like I said, these businesses are about people. This is Shona. Shona is typical of some of the young upcoming people within Westgold. What the slide's really trying to show, other than Shona, and I love this picture because of how it speaks to me, but it's really about our production. FY23, we produced 257,000 ounces. This year, FY24, we're seeing our production go up and our costs go down. The third line, and third and the fourth line about growth capital and exploration is really critical. And I heard Rick Rule say in this morning's presentation, again, speaking from a shareholder's perspective, look for companies that are investing in their future. I'll talk to both of these 2 lines in terms of how we're investing in the future. I'm a simple guy as a metallurgist, but I really like a plan on a page, and this is our plan for FY24. To continue to build cash in this business, because with building cash and building our balance sheet gives us strengths and it gives us options to do other things. We're so happy now that every ounce of gold we sell, we collect the full value for. That's a great place to be. Our production is going up and our costs are going down, and like everything in Australia, the West Australian gold sector saw massive cost inflation in FY22 and FY23. We got ahead of this very quickly because we had to, and we're one of the few gold companies which this year is guiding our costs down. Capital growth and shareholder returns, and everyone in this room is a potential shareholder, will be very interested in how they get a benefit from Westgold, whether it's direct by buying our bullion or buying bullion from our partners, or a dividend. We're seriously investing in growing this business, and I'll talk to that in the next few slides. If you stay around a bit longer, you'll hear from someone far more educated than me, Jake Klein from Evolution, which is the benchmark for us as to what good looks like. Jake speaks to a change in the Australian gold sector where his view of the world, and I'm absolute advocate to it, is focus on margin over ounces. You know, we too have suffered in the past about more ounces is better, and in FY22, we produced a lot of gold, didn't make any money. Shareholders weren't happy, so we changed that strategy in FY23, and I'm absolutely committed to following a similar path to Evolution, where it's about margin over ounces. Again, this is the insight into what it's like to try and run a gold company, or certainly our approach to running this company. Investing in growth opportunities and exploration. Again, the slide really tells the investors where we're investing our money for FY24. Where you invest your money tells you what you care about. We have to invest money in bringing on new mines, because new mines means more gold, and if we can generate more gold with the existing capital, our costs come down. We've got 3 development projects in-house, and I'll only talk to 2 of them because time is limited. So the left-hand slide talks to that. The right-hand slide shows a change in approach for the company in terms of committing money to exploration. Last year, this company drilled about 150 kilometres of drilling, something we've never done before. All of that drilling has paid massive benefits to us in terms of extending our mine lives and giving us better understanding of where the ore bodies are to be able to mine them better. Key point from this is this company is fully funded. I joke to some fund managers that if you ever see me wearing a tie, it normally means I'm raising money or I'm appearing in court. Today, I'm doing neither. This is a fantastic story, and one of the key things that people forget about Westgold is we own 3 historic mines which have produced over 1 million ounces of production during their time. One of the most exciting development opportunities we've got is this project called Great Fingall. This mine, the old timers mined this thing up until World War II. It generated over 1 million ounces between the Great Fingall and Golden Crown target at close to 20 grams per tonne. We've been drilling this for 6 months. We've decided to restart this underground, and this is such an iconic mine in Western Australia, so well known. Probably less well known on the East Coast, but it's probably very similar to Stawell. If you live on the East Coast or if you live in Victoria, you know about Stawell. It's an iconic name. In WA, Great Fingall is an iconic name. This is going to be a high-grade underground mine where we believe we can produce 40 to 50,000 ounces a year, starting next year at a total cost of $1,800. That's total cost. We sold gold this week, 2,900, let's call it. If we can produce gold here at 1,800, well, the margin is pretty solid. Big Bell is another underground mine we own. Again, it has historically produced over 1 million ounces. This is a very high-tech mine. This, for us in this business, is the engine room for Westgold. When the engine room was misfiring some years ago, profitability in this business was marginal. This mine now has been firing, and I say doing better than design levels since April 2022. We're really proud of this mine. It's a big mine as an underground cave, but this in some sense, when you read our reports, if you only read about Big Bell. If Big Bell goes well, the company goes well. Speaking a little bit about drilling, and you've heard a lot of exploration stories in the last couple of days, and look, as a metallurgist, I love drilling, which for this year, our shift in drilling is about developing the next range of targets within our package. I mean, Meekatharra Q is an area where people have said to me, oh, everything's been found in this area. Well, there's been people looking for gold in this area for hundreds of years, and there's very little deep drilling across these targets. And what we've got across our 1,300 square kilometres of tenure is a lot of shallow open pits which no one's drilled underneath. We're doing that now. Getting to the end of the presentation, and 4 minutes 35, I'm doing okay, is about returning capital to shareholders. This is, I think, what shareholders want to hear. If we are successful, how are you going to get a benefit? We're very happy to say that, well, I'm very happy to say that the board signed off this week on a different approach to how we reward our shareholders. We've set up a new dividend policy whereby in some sense, where there's the expectation that every year that we will guarantee, and I use that word loosely, 1 cent per share return to the shareholders. Some people have said, well, that's not enough. I'm saying, well, this is something which we've got confidence in the business now to be able to look forward and say profitability of the business will improve. This is the minimum you can expect from us, and if we do better, well, key word being the minimum. Sustainable and consistent returns to shareholders. They're something which really is driving our strategy about whether it's dividend or operations, being sustainable and consistent. I've only got 2 more slides, and really FY24, what is the plan for Westgold? To continue to optimise our assets. When we're early in the transformation of this company, we're doing a lot of things well, but there's a lot of things we can do better. It's about continuing to deliver grade and ounces. Margin. Free cash generation is what's driving us. We've got $192 million in cash and equivalents sitting in the bank at the end of June. This quarter, we're hoping to see that number grow again. We are increasing the life of our mine lives, and drilling has been the key change to the business. $19 million spent last year on exploration, $25 million targeted for this year. Sensibly invest in technology that drives cost reduction. And as investors, you probably, like me, are bombarded with the 3-letter acronym ESG. This is really a key part to all of our businesses, explorer or producers alike. ESG is increasingly important to the business because it is a mechanism or a metric which some people use to invest in these companies. ESG is super critical, it's business as usual, it's going to be more and more important to explorer and producer alike, and I'll talk to our approach to ESG on the next slide. This is the bits of the ESG that I like. In terms of increasing our margin and making the business more profitable, a massive investment we made over the last 12 months is to basically invest in building hybrid power stations. We are building 4 hybrid power stations which are gas-fired, supported by PV, solar and batteries. This is the first one that we've built. It came online in August this year. We've got 3 more that are being built to power our mines and our processing plants. They'll all be commissioned by December. Why do we like this? It reduces our carbon emissions, but it also drives our operating costs down. This was a massive investment for Westgold and shows a maturing of the business and a commitment to our view of the future. Tommy Heng, the happiest gold CFO in Australia. Sitting right there, I'm going to point to him. And why is he happy? Because every ounce of gold we sell now, he collects the full value of gold. Our hedge book in the last few years, which was obviously fixed forward sales, cost this company a lot of money. That is finished and it's done, so every ounce of gold we sell, we collect the full Australian dollar value. Last slide. What are we trying to do in this company, WGX? Be a progressive and profitable gold miner. I'm going to grab Jake's headline on focusing on margin, not ounces. And over the last half, what we've seen is certainly a growing cash balance. We closed the full year in a really strong position. Our plan for FY24 is very clear. Generate more cash because that gives us more optionality. We're fully funded to advance our organic growth targets, and I only showed you one, which was the Great Fingal project, which is something which I'm so excited about. We are focused on creating value for our shareholders. More importantly, we don't have any debt and fully leveraged to the gold price. So let me just close, and wow, I've really spoken the full time. We are the 7th largest gold producer in Australia. We've got aspirations to be higher up on that list. Thanks.